3 and we'll get started here with the meeting. Paul, do you want to read that
Sure.
meeting guidelines? Do you have that?
Yep. My phone will turn so I can actually see the print. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, various boards and committees representing the town of Grafton will conduct their public meetings and hearings via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted. All right, good to go.
Great, thank you. Okay, so let's discuss the church first.
Is Pat here and Ted, or just Pat? Because I heard Ted's voice, but
No, Norman's here.
Oh, there's
Ted's
Ted.
here.
All right, now I
Norman
see.
and Ted and Pat Morris shows up as here as well.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, Ted.
Yeah, I think you've all seen our updated revised proposal for the handicap access to the Unitarian Church in Grafton. Basically, Norm Hill's been doing quite a bit of work going around the front and measuring and getting elevations and trying to figure out how to do access with basically sidewalks as opposed to a ramp per se. And he was successful in designing something that does that. So the grades are all 5% or less, which means we don't need handrails. It's just a sidewalk that's at a slight grade. And the configuration is such that you can make your way from one side of the church to the other through transit. You do kind of take a curve down towards the street and then kind of come along the front of the church and then rejoin over by the shrubbery heading over towards the railroad tracks, but you can certainly get through. You can also make turns into all of our doors, and the turn into the left entrance will be less than 5%, as will all the others. They'll either be almost level or up to 5%. And that sidewalk, concrete sidewalk, basically takes you to a landing at that left door. And that landing would be on the order of 5 by 8.5 feet. And you can come up in a wheelchair, and then you can either use the lever on the door, or we hope if we have the money to do a push plate for a power door. And there will also be, I believe it's 3 stairs as you're facing the church. It'll be to the left towards the townhouse, so that people that don't want to use the ramp can just come up 3 stairs with railings onto that same landing and then get into the building. And the landing will basically be similar to our earlier proposal for the right side of the building. It'll be treated wood. It'll be clad with the white PVC, and it won't be a very big structure at this point.
I really like the fact that a railing won't be required for most of it. I think that's great. Less visible. You do need to drop a tree, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and Pat Morris, Pat, are you available to talk about the trees? You've been doing more with that.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. So I spoke with the tree warden, the head of the DPW, the town planner, and the planning folks, there's several of them there. And they have affirmed that the trees are 100% on church property, and no one has any objection to the removal of the tree or trees.
Great. It's too bad, but looks like it has to be done.
It's a
I'm
sick
sorry,
tree
Bill.
anyways, isn't it? It's not
I'm
doing
sorry, Bill, you said too bad?
Tree's not doing too well, is it, Pat?
No.
That is correct. The trees are not doing well.
Is that true of both of them?
That's true of both of them, but specifically the one that's where the ramp will be.
You're right, okay.
Is there any plan to add trees back in?
We are thinking of, what exactly our landscaping would look like in the front of the church. We have a number of members who are very interested in gardening and aesthetics and landscaping, and whether it be flowers or shrubs or trees or grass or a combination thereof. That has not been finally decided, but it's one option.
Okay. I had a
Okay.
question on the, does the town have to approve changes to the sidewalks?
I was just gonna ask that, John.
Well, the sidewalks are on the church's property, so the town wouldn't have any say on that.
Is that your feeling too, Paul? Canoia?
The sidewalk is on the church's property. There's the whole prescriptive easement thing where the sidewalk's been there forever. It's a touchy situation, but if it's gonna be replaced, that's fine.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, Paul.
it's going to be reconfigured quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
it'll follow the curb along the street. It'll be about 3 feet off that curb, and it'll follow the curb right around in front of the church. So it'll be relocated. There'll still be a continuous sidewalk from one side of the property to the other.
But where it is not on town property and on private property, relocating it to public property is better anyway for the town. At least gives us control over it.
Yeah, we'd have to.
We'll-
put it
we'll
out in
end
the
up
street,
on-
Paul.
Hi, this is Pat Morris again. I did ask the town planner and he researched it and he says that the town does not have an easement on that property.
It's not maybe not a written easement, but there's the prescriptive easement where something passes over for a certain amount, for 100 years, the sidewalk's been there. In that location, the town's been maintaining it, plowing it, sanding it.
Well, the
whatever.
town, the town does not maintain it. The church maintains it.
Okay, well,
Yeah, Paul, we're gonna put a new sidewalk in, right along the street from one end of the property to the other. It'd be about 3 feet off the curb that's there.
that's fine.
So, yeah, so we wouldn't be blocking access to anybody. They could still walk there, no problem. And it's gonna be 5 feet wide.
Trying to,
Wider than the existing sidewalk?
A little bit. I think the existing one, well, there is no sidewalk by the street. It's up by the church.
Right.
And-
but I
and-
mean- Okay, go ahead.
That's quite a wide pad in front of the church.
The ADA compliant, the ADA rules are 5 feet anyway, so.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna send you what they sent us, Paul. Shit,
How you been, Paul?
drawings and so forth.
Oh, great.
Good. Life is fun, isn't it?
Oh,
Can't
it's
go
a
out to
blast.
eat, can't go to a
Wait.
ball game. It's fun.
As soon as winter's over, I'll be happy.
Like living on an ark.
And so just to be clear, there are no other boards or commissions or town departments that have to sign off on a reconfigured sidewalk, even if it's on private property?
That's correct. They do not have to. No, there's no code that would trigger a review by any board. We're not near any wetlands. We're not adding more than 6 parking spaces. So, yeah, we would not have to appear in front of any other board in town.
Not even traffic advisory? I mean, should we at least give them a heads up that they're aware? It's cheap
I wouldn't think
trip,
so. It's not a traffic thing.
I just see we're moving it closer to the road. I don't know if that creates any potential concerns.
What
I
about
wouldn't
the
think so.
Disability Commission, is that still around?
It is.
Yeah,
Roger
which-
Trahan.
I'm sorry, which commission?
Disability Commission, Roger Trahan is the chair on that.
Oh, we should run it by them. Yeah.
They're just going to be concerned that, whatever we put in meets the current guidelines for accessibility.
Right.
And you've got a parking space, a handicap parking space, right in front of the old town hall, right? That's
There are two spaces there,
yeah, directly adjacent to the church. So
Yes.
that'll work well.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a great solution all the way around. It's just a matter of making sure everyone that needs to know is aware.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do we have any design on the landing that's going to be built in front of that door on the left?
We do not have one yet. It'll be very similar to what we had designed on the door on the right. Similar materials, similar size, but I wanted to run this by you guys, have you guys say, yeah, we like it, and then we'll do all the final plans.
Okay. How does Paul, Paul and Brad and John Stevens, how do you guys feel about the current plan?
I like it.
I like it.
Okay. Brad loves?
Yeah, I love it.
You love it, okay.
I'm good with it, Bill. Pending any potential changes if the Disability Commission has anything to say. Otherwise, once we get a drawing with materials on the landing, then I think we could probably then have a vote on this.
Yep, okay, good. Well, Ted and Norm, we like the look of it so far, and if you can bring it to us at the next meeting with, all the I's dotted and T's crossed and all the plans formalized, we'll vote on it.
Will do. We'll get you the final plans in the next 2 weeks. All right, thank you so much.
And
Do
so
you,
traffic advisory committee is chaired by Chief Crepo, and Roger Trahan, Trahan, is the Disability Commission chair. So you might want to loop them into.
All right, I'll call Norman tomorrow.
and Roger Trahan with the Disability Commission. Do you want us to submit a revised application from our original? Is that the way you proceed, or are you just gonna, is it okay just to stay with what we originally, we're modified it to quite a bit.
Yeah, I think because it's changed so much, it's gone over to the other side of the building and so forth, so I think we should do that.
So when Norm comes up with his design of the landing,
Mhm.
which is really at this point what we would be asking for your approval for, we will submit that with an updated application for the landing and any modification to the door hardware and the push plate.
Great. That's good. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Very well.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Have a great night.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're going to take items a little bit out of order. Paul Canoyer's got something for us regarding the common irrigation system.
Good news or bad news?
I'm here, it's never good news.
No.
So the irrigation system is a control pit, valve pit is on the north side of the common. The entrance that kind of goes towards, Craig Dauphin's building on that end is a 24-inch manhole, and the valve pit is 5 feet underground there. The water district has informed us that valve pit is no longer acceptable, and that the feed to that system has to be above ground with a backflow preventer that can be tested and monitored above ground. With the below ground valve pit, if something fails in the system, if the backflow fails, the whole system's going to empty out because it's below ground. There's no stopping it. That being said, you need to determine where you would like that valve pit to go, bearing in mind that there's only so many options depending where the water service, right now it feeds off of coming up, that right in front of that area, the Millbury Street side. So
Does it feed off that hydrant line right there?
it feeds off of something, the water district doesn't really know what it, it's been there for,
Yeah.
since who knows when.
Hey,
Nobody
Paul?
really knows.
Well, this is John Morgan. I have a question. Is the irrigation system even used?
Yeah, most of the, for most of the summer, if you get a hot, dry summer, it's used because, there's so much traffic up there, as you guys all know. That grass would never survive without being watered. So it's on early in the morning, usually
Yeah,
about 5.
Yeah,
I've
I've
seen
never
it.
seen it. I've never seen it operating.
What would putting the valve above ground look like?
It would need to be, I think the minimum is 3 to 4 feet.
High?
Yeah, with a,
It's
Yeah,
big,
I mean,
isn't it?
let's say literally, we just found out, yes. So I can get, kind of get a drawing, a depiction of what it would look like.
Can it be put in a doghouse?
Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with, and then yes, and the backflow preventer would need to be put on until it's being used. So there's if we design it right and do it right, we could probably take the whole, U-shaped thing off, only for the summer months. It would only be there for a few months out of the year. But it's still gonna be there for, June, the busiest times in that area.
Can you
June,
explain
July.
that? So it's only out for part of the year? I don't know.
Yeah, so it would be, it's only for the irrigation system. So once the irrigation system shut down, we could design it somehow so there's shut-offs underground. So we shut it off. The irrigation system's off. It's done for the season. We pick that whole system up and, store it till the next spring when you need it.
I'm wondering if we can incorporate this somehow with the fountain at the fire
Well, that's-
station.
Well, that's what Daryl said. Daryl said, but the fountain's not gonna really hide it that much. It would obscure it a little bit. So my thought was I'd get an accurate drawing from the water district, exactly what needs to be there, the height that it's required, size of the pipe, are there other alternative locations we can put it in? If we can go on the west side or, I don't know. Just wanted to get it to everybody's attention so they can stop thinking about this.
Can the work be handled in-house, or are we looking for funding for this too?
I'm not, I don't really know. We can do some of it, but not, if it has, if we stay with where it's fed right now, we could use the existing tap. If we want to move it, obviously that's a definite change. So
Tell us again exactly where it is, Paul?
if you, on the north end, if you're
Yeah.
coming in from that north entrance,
Right,
on the left, about, I don't know, 20 feet up the common and over about 10, there's a 24-inch manhole cover.
Is it inside the common or the
Yeah,
outside
it's
the fence?
inside the fence.
so it's 20 feet up the path and then to the left into the grass, 10 feet.
Yeah, give or take.
Perfect place for a fountain.
It's certainly something we can, like I said, I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention tonight, just to get it on the radar. It's not, it certainly should be something we try and, we want to do while the construction, we want to do it after the construction's done. But we need to have a plan by the time that's done. So we're ready to go with this. So,
I guess we gotta see what the impact is. I mean, how big a structure this thing is gonna be.
Yeah,
yeah, it's, it's a 2-inch pipe up, 2-inch pipe out, the backflow prevent, a couple of 90-degree bends, 2 shut-off valves, and the backflow prevention device is probably 16, 18 inches long. So it's a 3 feet high, 3 to 4 feet high, and 3 to 4 feet across. Narrow, but still that.
But we could build a structure over it if we wanted to, though.
Yeah, we certainly could build a doghouse type thing, and if we wanted to put that fountain in the same area, kind of just try and, build something that is close to, I don't know, would fit in with that.
yeah.
Are you looking for the project to help fund this too?
I don't know. I'm not sure if we use the existing, the biggest thing will be if we don't want to put it where it is now. I mean, moving it back, we're gonna have to dig a hole. Obviously, the DPW guys can dig the hole. because it's, the water surface comes in at 5 feet, so it doesn't freeze. So we gotta get down that height. Turn it, we could, if we use the existing pipe right where it is, turning it, bringing it up, then going back down in the same area is not a big deal. If we want to change the location, it's gonna be a huge cost, another tap in the lines.
So we're gonna want to treat it as separate from the project as far as not having the general contractor handle it. Potentially still leverage some funds if they're leftover contingency funds.
Yeah, so
I was thinking about the possibility of moving it closer to the outside railing, but then you get trees and roots in there too.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can incorporate the fountain, then maybe the doghouse can be designed like a trough or something like that.
Right. Yeah, you can get creative.
yeah, no, I think, we can say. But Andy,
I was gonna say you could make it look like a grist mill with one of those wheels turning on the side.
no, I mean, I agree with something to that effect would certainly work. So like I said, I'll try and get an accurate drawing sent. I can send it to Bill, who can send it around of what they're gonna want. Then you're gonna have to take that and decide what you want us to do.
I just don't want to hold up going out to bid for this to redo engineering stuff or anything like that. So if we do fold it into this, it'll have to be like after the fact.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it as a change, right, Andy? And that's that would work.
Okay, well, thanks so much for that, Paul.
Don't come around and then you bring this. Come on.
I'd love to be the bearer of bad news.
Jeez.
Trying to find a schematic of the common that we had months ago, so I could get a better see what's even.
In one of Graves' original plans, he has on I think page 1 or 2 of his original plans, he has the irrigation somewhat shown on it. Let me find the date of this.
Oh, wait a minute.
Like September of 20 or something like that.
I get so many papers.
I think it's Jeff's revision from, I think it's September 20.
September 20. Okay, well, we'll deal with that. Is Jeff on tonight? I'm not sure if Jeff's on.
No, he's not.
Did you know he wasn't going to be on?
There's no need for him.
Okay, so we're right.
He's on the we have to pay when he shows up. So
Well, let's see what the impact is. Let's see how big a structure we're dealing with, and then we can go from there.
I'm sorry, I fell off and I just jumped back on. Can we not just put bushes around this, or are we gonna have Bush City on the common trying to hide everything?
just don't want them to get damaged or people to trip over them. So
Well, let's get an idea what it's going to look like first. So you get me a photo or a drawing or something, right, Paul?
Yeah, I'll have Dave draw something up, exactly what they're gonna be looking for. It was that kind of original. It was just, brought up to, hey, the next time you're talking to that commission, make them aware of this. So, ironically, that's Thursday, so.
why is it needed anyways? Why is it sudden change?
The DEP regs have changed. So it's their guide, for the water departments, sprinkler systems, building sprinkler systems, lawn sprinkler systems. Just because it's in a valve pit. It's because it's below grade, uncontrolled. So
It's easier for them to get at when it's above.
Well, I don't even know so much as it's that. I'm sure it's partly that, but it's not. It's just that if there's a leak, that in that valve pit floods and there's something wrong with the backflow, there's no, that dirty water is going back into the water system. There's a problem in that pit. So,
I get it. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's a drag, but we'll work with it. Still can't find that damn drawing.
You're trying to find the drawing of the common?
Yeah. What date?
I can look for one. I might have one.
What date did you say it was, Paul? September what?
September of 20, I think. August or September last year is the revision date. I'm not sure when he sent. That's the revision date on the drawing.
The existing condition drawings that just came out that are going out to bid have it in the, on
Yeah,
page
I-
one, the existing site plan shows it.
I have them. I can find it. Just give me a minute.
Here we go. Here we go. It was sent to me on.
I have it open, but do I have permission to share?
9/8. Yeah, go ahead. So, yeah, September 8th.
It's disabled. You have to give permission.
Do I have to give you permission, Bill?
Yeah.
No, I did something inadvertently. It screwed up. Let's see. What the heck? I have hit something and it has messed me up. I've got this big round button saying done speaking. That's all I can see. Oh, I'm in the safe driving mode. Well, I'm using my phone because my computer doesn't, the sound system doesn't work. How do we get out of this?
I think if you swipe to the side, you get back on.
Don't drive off the road.
Brad, the beard's looking good.
Thank you very much.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I don't know what the hell has happened here. I'm going to leave the webinar and try to come back in because I can't get out of this.
Okay.
I'm like disabled here.
Nope. Okay. If you're the host, we're not all going to get bumped off, are we?
Yeah.
No, I had that option. I decided to let you all continue.
Thank you. He must have already signed in as host because when I tried to, I couldn't. She changed the password though. This is not the same password that we have.
You know, all my options are leave webinar or end webinar for all, which obviously I don't want to do.
Don't end it for all. You can leave. And he did. I'm looking at a picture of it, and here's the north end.
So we're just trying to cite it. Is that what this exercise is?
Yeah, which part of this, Andy, you think would show it while we're waiting for him? The electrical one?
No,
Or do we have a plumbing one?
there's an existing conditions plan that's first. That's the one that'll show it. I pulled it up myself and
Yeah, I just got to shrink this down because it's too big. I can't see everything. All right, make this.
Okay, I'm there.
Make it 25%. Ah, no. All right. So this C101 then probably, huh? First one. Ooh, that's huge. Oh, 50%. Existing conditions, that's what I'm on.
Well,
Host disabled, participant screen sharing, so. Hard to find things when you're on your phone. It's frustrating.
it is, yeah. And my iPad is ancient, so the thing doesn't really work very well anymore.
Time
don't
for a technology upgrade, though.
Yeah, that's what my kids are telling me. I think it's 6 or 7 years old. And it just
That's
does not-
ancient for
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah.
Like the guy using it.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. So how do I give you permission? Spotlight, change role. Oh, remove permission to record local files.
No, that's not it.
Allow to multi-pin. Not sure what that is.
Look under share screen. Do you have a thing that says share screen underneath?
I'm not seeing it. No, don't see that. Maybe.
Permissions, is there anything that says permissions? I don't have your view, so I don't know how it's labeled.
What's this? Well, maybe everyone, if they're on their computer, they can just look for that email that I have in front of me.
Yeah, it was the last one that was sent out. Did he send it to everyone? I don't know if he sent it to everyone, though.
This was sent from you to Bill Stendrup, and yeah, everyone was copied. John Morgan, John Stevens, Brad, Andy, Paul, myself.
So if it's the same version, it's C101 is the,
8th of September.
I'm looking at our most recent one, which was just out last week. But at any rate, I think he had existing conditions even back then, so it would have been towards the front of the documents.
I'm not sure if I see it.
Well, we know roughly where it is, so rather than waste more time,
Yeah, let's move on.
we know it's 20 feet in and 10 feet to the left of the walkway, I think he said, as you're heading down it. So that is around some trees. See
Right.
the canopy of trees right in that vicinity. It must be this thing that's labeled W.
Yes.
Yeah. I would suggest that we take the path of least resistance and not move it. I mean, if we do put a fountain in there, that's kind of a nice place right by an entrance that gets a lot of activity. A lot of people come in and out from that entrance.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to have it, we have to have it. So whether it's, tucked under a tree or up against the railing or the fence or just out in the open, it's going to be there. So we
Does it
just
need
have-
to be on concrete, you think, Andy?
A little bit. I mean, if we're gonna build a doghouse, it should be on something. It's not holding up much weight, so it can be just a little simple mud mat.
Slab. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll know more when he comes back next month.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on then. I don't have the agenda. What do we have listed as next? I guess the common project probably.
We'll let Andy take the lead on that since he's the man of the day,
Oh, boy.
working on all this stuff.
So we're going to be advertising the project next week. All the drawings and specs, the final ones are in. I finished up doing the front end spec for invitation for bids today. Doing the final review with Evan and William over the next couple of days. And so, yeah, we'll get it out and advertised for bid. I'll send you guys the dates tomorrow, when it's going to go out, when we're going to have like a walkthrough, and then when bids are going to be due. So I'll get you those calendar dates out there, but yeah, basically we're all ready to go.
Who is the other gentleman you just mentioned? Evan and
William?
William. Yeah, who's William?
So he's our business analyst, I think. Paul, is that right?
Oh, is that the new finance person? I don't think, oh, he is.
Oh, that's somebody, that's Mary. So this is in lieu of, the assistant TA. But he's doing some assistant TA functions. So yeah, he's been helpful so far. Above and beyond that, so we did get some clarification on the lights, what do you call it? Who's made that?
Hammerworks.
Hammerworks, thanks. Thinking Hammersmith, Hammerworks. So we did get an indication on those that those are fine as a sole source item. So we're going to be able to go and pull the trigger on that. That's good. The Davy Resources folks, that was sort of just it was kind of a time and materials open-ended proposal. So we need something that actually has a fence around it. So that, is quantifiable, at least to begin with. So we need to ask them for a revised proposal that says, what do they think their effort's going to be? And then, as we go along, if there's more work for them to do, we can always do an amendment or an addendum to their proposal, to their contract. But we need something that's definitive in order to be able to get it approved.
I sent Bill Stendrup a email today asking for that. So
Yeah,
I haven't heard back, but
yeah, it's a very straightforward thing. They should be able to give you that. No time at all. Unfortunately, that doesn't really, it's decoupled from our bid set. So it doesn't really get in the way of this thing going out to bid. So it'll be fine.
yep, that's awesome.
Great, that's great. Yeah, glad
That
to
is
hear it.
great.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's
So
great.
next week, you said?
What's that?
Next week?
Yes. Yep.
And
What
where
are you-
goes that to bid? I mean, is there some website that contractors typically check, daily, weekly, whatever?
Yep. So there's a couple of them. The Central Register, we advertise there. Combis is another place where a lot of municipalities go to purchase things, goods and services. So that'll go there. And then we pick a local newspaper, usually the Worcester Telegram, that we can put an advertising there as well. So 3 places, and we're all set.
What was the second one? Combis?
Yes.
How do you spell that?
All capitals, COMMBUYS,
Never heard of that one.
as in like Commonwealth buys stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
And then what's the time frame? A month?
I'm trying to remember. I think I was given it 3 weeks for bidding, because it's not a huge project. There's not a lot of moving parts. It's, we could give them a month, but it's just an extra week that they probably don't really need. So I think probably 3 weeks.
Good. Yeah, the less the better.
The sooner they get started, the better for sure.
Yep. Yeah, we want to move right along. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's good. And I think, the engineer did a nice job of drawing that the archway with enough detail and enough information so that it can be bid. Just having the artist rendering really wasn't enough, but he did a nice job of interpolating that. So I think that'll be good.
And when's the anticipated start date, Andy? Once all the bids come in and.
Yeah, again, I was just doing the dates today and I juggled them around a few times, so I don't have it right in my head, but I'll send you all the dates tomorrow so you guys have everything.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Just so you guys are aware, I did get another invoice from Graves Engineering. So we are currently, let's see, where did I write it? Through February 27th, we will have incurred an additional $16,818.53 in expenses over what we had originally bid for their work. And the total we had bid for them was $2,900, but $5,200 of that is for actual construction supervision. So
900 or 29,000?
29,000. Did I say 100? I'm sorry. 29,000. So, we're about 63% over budget on this item. But even taking that into account and what we've paid for the arborist so far, and there will be more coming once we get their revised bid for the construction supervision piece of it. We still got almost 75,000 left in our contingency fund.
Good. Yeah, because I'm
We-
sure more at some point.
We were smart in asking for 15% and not 10. It gives us a added little bit of cushion. So I think we're in good shape.
Good.
Thank you
good.
for all your hard work, Andy.
No problem. Yeah, I mean, the engineer's done most of the work so far. And I did, by the way, I did ask him to give us, if he had any recommendations for contractors that he thought might be appropriate. So he was kicking that around the office and was going to give me a couple names as well.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, because I looked at that firm that it was actually the guy from Mott Ironworks that gave me, and they didn't seem right for the project at all. So I didn't forward it to you. So hopefully we get lots of bids, competitive bids.
Okay, well, let's move on to the library.
Mr. Chair, can I just, one more thing before I hang up?
Yeah, I thought you already hung up.
I'm staying out of the library. Beth won't give me a card, so.
A smart man.
If any of you have any connection with the farmer's market, they had reached out about that using, their summer schedule. I suggested to them that they come up with an alternative location, not that they have to go there right away. We don't have the schedule until we have the schedule of this construction. We won't know. But I did suggest to them that they find and pick another spot.
Yeah,
To
we've been.
move-
Go
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. I was
No,
just
no,
gonna
I
say.
just-
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
All right, that they just be prepared to find an alternative location, whether it's July, August, or September, that they may not finish the season
Yeah.
up on the common.
We've shared that same information with Joanne and Cindy in the town administrator's office and suggested, and I know they've been using it, is Mill Villages Park as an alternative site for folks. And that essentially throughout the summer, no one should expect that they're going to have access to book events on the common. Hopefully in the fall, we will be able to do it once the grass is set. That's the hope.
I
Very
wonder
nice
if
to relay
Millville
that.
would be open to them.
I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
I wonder if Mill Villages Park would be open for that, if they could do it there.
That's what we've been recommending. So, and that's what Joanne and Cindy have been also trying to convey to folks. So,
Okay.
I just wanted to get that out there. So, thank you.
yep.
Bye, Paul.
So Paul, are you hoping
Nice.
to do sanding tonight?
What's that?
Is there going to be some sanding required tonight?
Let's hope not. So,
Sanding. What are we sanding?
we don't send anything with
Right.
salt. But Bill's like Bill's phone, he is also. So
It's behind the times.
the horses are pulling the sand away.
There
Yeah.
you go.
All right. Have a good night.
All right,
You too.
Let's see. So let's move on to the library project.
Where shall we start?
It's up to you.
Did you share the photographs or did I send them to everybody of the
You
paint?
didn't, and I realized that just a couple hours ago, so I did send them out to everybody a few hours ago.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have them.
Landscape plan and the lights.
Yeah,
Hit that next. Yep.
But not the sign, right?
sign we got earlier.
But I have to do a formal submission for that, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, did I, no, geez, I
You
might,
did.
I forgot to tell you
you
about that.
Right.
Wow, this is a really cool plan.
I'll pull that form down and fill it out and get it to you guys.
Hey, this is nicer than the common plan.
What are you looking at? The
The
landscape?
one with all the landscape plan with all the greenery in it and everything. It's
Yeah,
multicolored.
So along those, so we're working through budget estimates for that right now. They're coming a little high. It's really interesting. We get nobody that'll do stone walls, like nobody. So, and it might be cost prohibitive to have them done with union labor anyway, so we may end up doing the majority of this landscape project and then do stone walls afterwards as not as part of the project, but as a separate thing afterwards. Gives us a little bit more freedom.
Is that a dying art?
Goshen stone.
Goshen stone, I know, yeah, no, we're probably not going to be using Goshen stone either.
What is it? I'm not even familiar with it.
It's a very specific sort of shaped stone. I would prefer, New England field stones that you would typically see all over town.
Mhm.
That's our landscape architects getting fancy. So, so this one's still a work in progress where, nothing's been decided. We're just literally just getting budget numbers back right now, and that's going to drive some of the decisions. So again, I'm hoping to get another iteration. We've got another meeting with the landscape architects on Monday, and then there'll be an update that comes out of that conversation. Then we'll, I'll continue to share this stuff out until we get to the point where we think we're where it's going to be, and then we'll do a formal review. I walked it by planning. I walked it by Concom also, just to keep everybody in the loop in terms of where this thing could be headed.
I'd like to see pictures of the twig benches too.
Twig benches.
Those twig benches are, I haven't even seen pricing for those. I know they're expensive.
I'm not so sure they're appropriate for the front of the building.
But that too, yeah. No, they're not. So that's the landscaping. Yeah, still a work in progress. But I think in the next, I think probably if it's 2 weeks from now, I'll have another version of this to show you guys, along with some budget information that we'll have consumed. And so we'll have a much better idea about what's in and what's out. That's landscaping.
And do you have like a package for distribution among possible donors? Could you send that to me?
Yep, I can.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
My brother and I were thinking of doing something in memory of my dad or my
Oh,
folks.
great.
Or something
Yeah.
like that.
That'd be great.
That'd be nice.
Okay. What's next? So there's that.
Light?
The light.
Lighting.
Not loving it, Andy.
I doesn't love the light.
That's
I
my
know.
opinion. I'm not loving it.
I don't, lighting is lighting. I know it's easy to have opinions about lighting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I love it or not. I still haven't, and that was the only photo I could find of one sort of in place. And
It
don't
just
know.
doesn't seem appropriate.
Is it the ones that are mounted on the wall, not the lights that are on the balusters or whatever they call those?
On either side of the doors.
It's that picture that was included, that rendering.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's the one on the walls because it looks like the stanchions have lights in them too.
they make a few different versions of it, but the one on the wall is the one. I don't know. I mean, I could
It's
talk
like
myself
flying
through it. I
saucers.
could talk myself out of it. I mean, it's got a very thin profile, so during the day, I don't think it's going to be, something that jumps out at you. And at night, I think you're just going to see the light and not the light fixture. But I don't know. It's a modern fixture on a modern building. It would be completely inappropriate on front of the building for sure. So it's not going there. That's for sure.
Where would these be placed?
So I think there's one on the north side, one at the near the entrance, and a couple on the south side. I think there's 4
The
total.
south side wouldn't be visible.
No.
So we're talking about 2, probably.
I think so. Again, there's another one that's right at the main entrance of the building, but it's not this. I think it's something that's a little bit more traditional. So I need to find that one too, because that just came up today. Because I thought it was the same one, and they said, no, it's a different one that's over the front door, over the new front door.
Was
Um,
there
And
a
they haven't
reason why they
spec-
chose these types of lights?
What's that?
Was there a specific reason for these lights?
What the architect chose,
Yeah, I was going to say the architect liked them.
But they didn't give options. They just gave you one.
I don't even remember.
It's a new building, but I wouldn't call it a modern building by any stretch.
Right.
Yeah, I agree, John.
It's a traditional looking building.
Right. Yep.
I
I mean, I
don't-
don't think they're not, I mean, they're not gaudy. They're not, I understand what you're saying, John. Like, I can't disagree, but I also don't think it's not this big, crazy, weird looking thing. I don't think it's going to be all that noticeable really, but I don't know.
Relatively unobtrusive. I guess I just, I mean, it almost sounds like they ordered these already? I mean.
I don't know. I've got to believe that I mean, this is Griffin Electric. They're right on top of things. I've got to believe that they've ordered them quite a while ago, but I haven't seen them on site, and I've asked the question and nobody's been able to give me a straight answer. Like, well, we've got some of our light fixtures, but not all of them. I know a lot of the interior light fixtures showed up yesterday or today. So nobody's been able to give me a straight answer in terms of, you know, whether they're in hand or not.
Who's
Yeah, but I
the
mean,
nobody from the architects that won't give you a straight answer?
It's not
Ron or,
it's not the architect. It's the electrical subcontractor. It's Griffin Electric.
but the architect had to specify what was ordered,
He spec-
right?
he specified what was designed. Right, but he handed that off a long time ago to the subcontractor.
But, and I know, because we had this conversation a long time ago, that, because when I came back to this committee was the parking lot lights had been ordered, but the building lights had not, because I raised it at the regular meeting to say, hey, we're concerned. So this is to me another example of the architect totally disregarding what the committee is wanting, at least one person on that committee being me.
Right.
And that's a problem that it keeps creeping up, and I don't know how to address that.
Yep. I mean, you know better than some of the other folks on this particular group that, yeah, we've certainly had some issues with the architect just sort of pushing their way ahead with things that, you know, we are not very happy with. So yeah, we've got some ongoing issues with the design team.
But if these have been ordered, you know, to me, we didn't approve them. And if we have to pick something else, as far as I'm concerned, the architect just bought some new lights for their building because we didn't approve it.
Right. Well, I'm gonna have to pick at this tomorrow and get a for sure answer in terms of what the story is with these light fixtures, because I you know, I can't come back to you guys and without an answer. I've got to be able to get something from these guys. So let me do that.
And to me, the buck really starts with the architect. They're the bus driver,
right.
right?
Well, they selected them, that's for sure.
Well, I guess it's pretty clear that we're not loving these lights.
Right. No, I get it. I mean,
Look
Well,
like
it's not
flying
that I don't even
saucers.
like, I don't know that I have a huge problem with the lights. I have a huge problem with the process
Right.
and the fact that it's on our agenda every month. They know we're concerned. They know that they're supposed to do certain things, and they continue just to decide that what the historic district is requiring doesn't matter. It doesn't apply to them, and I have a problem with that.
right. I mean, it's clearly written on the application that was approved that we had to sign off on all exterior building materials. So
Okay.
and to John's point, we're not getting that.
Right. All right.
They're not playing nice with us.
I know.
Feels like it's somebody else at town hall, not under the initials BI.
All right. I'm going to take this back to the team and we'll figure out where we are and then what needs to happen next.
Thank you.
Sure.
Is there anything else we need to discuss regarding the library?
What about the railings in front of the air conditioners?
Yeah. So I'm behind. I need to get a sketch done for that because that's going to come from me. I'm not going to pay the architect to do that when that's something I can do myself.
I don't see any air conditioners.
Right. We've had this discussion before, right?
I know.
Did the roof garden take the air conditioning spots?
They could have done a better job with the roofscape. But that rendering Paul just showed has that. I've done those renderings myself for an architect and for a construction company, and they never have the HVAC information on them, or rarely ever do. It's not a conspiracy, guys. It's just they don't show what the architects show. The architects show what they want to see,
Yeah.
and they don't want you know, rooftop mechanical issues getting in the way of what their vision is.
We
Even
want
though
to know what we're really going to see.
Even though it's the
so,
reality.
Yeah.
So then to me, the question is what do we, moving forward as Historic District Commission, need to do to convey for another project that's not necessarily the library, to dictate or to request of an architect to say, you need to show us all these things that are going to show up, not just what, how do we prevent this from happening again?
Well, we should get copied on the final design drawings. That
Yeah,
way-
I
But it
agree.
sounds like they don't put that
Right
on.
there.
I don't think they don't put that on there, do they? Andy?
Yep. Yeah, the roof plan, the final, you know, the construction document roof plan shows the locations of all that stuff in plan, doesn't show them in elevation. And if you look at the building elevations, it doesn't show the mechanical equipment. So it's a little hard to find. What they'll tell you is that because in design, they don't really know exactly what rooftop equipment is going to go on there, what model, what manufacturer. So they can't really put something on there, but that's not really the case. You can put something you can pick a basis of design and have rooftop equipment up there that actually shows up. I've done it myself, so I know that you can. So it's not that they can't, it's just that they don't.
Right.
Would they have been able to, I'm not suggesting it be changed because I know that's not possible, but would they have been able to have chosen lower ones that weren't quite so visible?
I don't think lower ones, but I think that they could have done a layout of the roof, like they could have been in a different position on the roof. So we could have tried to nestle more of those things that are tall like that behind the existing building, instead of hanging out there in the corner. Yeah.
But to John Stevens' point, you know, I think moving forward on these types of projects, the commission really should be copied on what is going to be the proposed final design drawings.
Yeah,
We can review them, and you know, because if we would have known that equipment was going to be in that spot, and so it should have, you know, sent up a red flag. And if it didn't, then shame on us.
Right.
But if it did, we wouldn't be having this discussion now, and you know, trying to figure out a solution for it.
I totally agree. If there had been a roof plan that showed that information on there, you could have at least said, hey, you know, how tall is this thing? You know, not having a look at it at all, you didn't have a choice.
Right.
Okay.
But I think, you know, I don't know how we do that moving forward, other than maybe we add it into our application process. And
That's
then
where I would put it.
you know, then it'll be on, you know, the onus will be on us to make sure that we start to get those plans. But
I think that's easy enough to say. You know, another question, are there any mechanicals that will be either on the roof or on the ground or anywhere on the property? You must show them for a complete application.
Right.
I think that's,
I agree. I think making it part of the application process is the best place to put it.
Yeah, I agree.
If they have to submit an application, then that means they have to have read that. If it's just in the design guidelines, that doesn't necessarily mean that they've read them.
Okay, so you're going to draw something up.
Yep. So I'll have at least a couple of options for you guys, and I'll have them before 2 weeks from now. I'll have them probably next week. I'll get them. I'll just email them out to you so you can take a look at them and digest them a little bit.
Thank you.
And you feel comfortable that you have funding to cover the cost of those?
I don't feel comfortable with
Contingency?
that, but you know, we're gonna draw it, and we're gonna you know, price it anyways. So we'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
Okay,
I was just wondering if one approach might be more economical than another.
Well, it's always part of my thought process, you know, cost. So let me put a couple things in front of you guys, and they'll both be something that I think that we'll be able to deal with in terms of cost.
Sounds good.
Okay, Andy, well, thank you for joining us tonight and giving us that report.
Sure, as always.
Thank
Happy-
you.
And all your work on the
Yeah.
common project,
Absolutely.
which you're doing gratis, and we appreciate that.
Very
Thank
much.
you.
Happy to do it. No, I'm excited to get that one going. That's really going to be good to get that to break ground on that and get moving.
It's going to be awesome. I'm
Yeah.
so
Sure.
excited.
There is.
Good.
After how many years of planning, guys?
Long time.
I've lost track.
4 or 5.
Longer than Super Park.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're
John
right.
Bouchard was on the DPW building committee for 20 years.
Wow.
Is that right?
Yeah. As of this year.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's a long time. I think that one takes the cake.
Yeah, like the big dig. That was 20 plus years.
All right.
Okay,
Have a
Thanks,
great
Andy.
night, Andy.
See you
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
take care. Okay, guys, so the next item of business is minutes from previous meetings. Do we have any of those, Paul?
No, I was pretty busy with getting everything out last time, and my job is I've got a new boss, and my life is a lot of fun right now. So no, I have had no time
Okay.
since
no
2 weeks
problem.
ago to do it. So I will have 2 sets for when we have our next regular meeting.
That's fine. Okay, new business. I wanted to talk a little bit about the holiday lighting on the common. Jen Anderson, I'd asked her to join us. She said she would. Then she sent me an email a few weeks later and said she'd spoken to her committee and they felt that we should come to them. And they also wanted to know what authorization we think that we have. So they're playing hardball.
Can you say that again? I missed the very beginning. I'm sorry.
So
Who-
Jen Anderson is the chair of the Recreation Committee.
Yeah.
And I contacted her, emailed her, then spoke to her on the phone a month ago, and she was very pleasant over the phone. And I said, it'd be great if you could join one of our meetings, and so we could discuss what your plans are. And she was anxious to do it sooner rather than later. I said, September. She says, oh no, we need to discuss this sooner than that. Then
Plans
she
for what,
spoke-
Bill? I'm sorry, I'm missing something here.
The
holiday
lighting.
Decorations up on the common.
Oh, the lighting. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
That's what
Christmas,
it is. Yep.
holiday.
Yep.
So she spoke to her committee, and then I got an email back saying that they wanted me to come, or however many of us to come to their meeting, and that they'd also like to know what authorization we thought we had over this project. So in other words, they're saying, this is what we want to do. We don't care about you guys.
Wow.
So that's where it's been left.
When do they meet?
I went through the guidelines today, and I don't think we really do have any authorization over. I don't see anything over. I mean, there's nothing that addresses holiday lighting in particular. There's nothing that addresses temporary lighting.
What about lighting? We do have control over lighting, so this is lighting. Right? We just wouldn't-
Where do we specify what we have rights for? Where is it outlined? And is it on our website?
Yeah, our property owners informational handbook and design guidelines is on the website. I'm almost
Yeah.
positive.
Mhm.
I mean, if you really want to get legalistic about it, then you got to go back to the bylaw, the town bylaw, which then pulls in the state Historic District Commission general law.
But if we are able to dictate the lights on the library, why are we not able to dictate the lights on the common? A light
Here's
is a
a-
light is a
Probably
light.
because they're not permanent, although they've left them on the bandstand. So I guess you could argue that they're permanent.
Yeah.
I'll read you the 2 paragraphs in our guidelines. The Grafton Historic District represents a variety of architectural periods where exterior lighting was either all but non-existent or in the early stages of development. it is desirable that original or later appropriate exterior lighting fixtures be retained and if possible repaired. Deteriorated or missing elements should be replaced with like materials whenever possible. The replacement of existing exterior lighting fixtures, which is this case, with new fixtures should reflect a design and scale that is appropriate to the architectural style and period of the building. It is preferable that exterior lighting be kept at low levels to prevent glare or overspill of the light off the property. Over illumination of building facades with floodlights is inappropriate to the historic district and generally would not be allowed, would generally not be approved by the commission. The proposals to add exterior lighting for new additions or changes to a structure should adhere to the intent of the general design guidelines outlined on page 6 of this document. So that's all we have in there. Doesn't say anything about holiday lighting or temporary lighting.
Right, and you got to remember the guidelines are guidelines. They're recommendations, they're suggestions, they're not law.
Good point.
What this boils down to is what does the town's bylaw say that it established the Historic District Commission? And then what does the state general law say regarding historic district commissions? And that's where we get whatever authority we have or jurisdiction we have. My guess is that in a strict interpretation of the bylaw in general law, we probably don't have a leg to stand on, would be my guess. But I haven't read through that documentation in a long time.
It just flies in the face of what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring back a historic look to the park, and that structure they had up, while was great because we didn't have anything otherwise last year. We're planting trees, and there will be alternatives moving forward. So, are they not willing to work with us?
Well, she certainly sounded like she was, but it sounds like there must be one or two people, or who knows how many, on the committee that feel differently. That's
Who's
just
on
my
that
guess.
committee? Do we know? It's the
I
rec
don't-
commission.
I don't know. She did make a point of adding that she is adamant about getting the lights down relatively promptly. She said, I don't leave them up all winter. I make sure they're taken down. I think she said within less than 30 days after Christmas, or within, because they were down some point.
But they're still on the roof.
Bandstand still
They're
id
still
up.
on the roof of the bandstand. And they're still lighting them up.
Not those, but the rest of them.
It
One of
looks
the things
pretty.
that I have a complaint about is, I'm not sure if it was this winter. I think it was this winter. They had them along the walkways. Remember, they were strands going along both sides of the walkways.
And they had rubber mats over the extension cords.
Yeah.
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 I mean, the thing is, at the very least, they should be giving us a heads up on what their plans are. I mean, that's just kind of common.
Courtesy.
Right.
And it sounds like from what you're describing, Bill, that somebody or some folks on that committee, have an attitude towards our request to talk to them about it, which isn't right either. I mean,
That's what it sounds like.
I don't think it's a big deal for them to keep us in the loop and at least get our feedback as to, how it all gels with what our commission is, our charge rather is, for the commission, which is try to maintain the historical integrity and feel of the common.
Okay, I have the bylaws. Let me read just real briefly. It's the opposite of the US Constitution, whereas if the Constitution doesn't have enumerated powers, it goes to the states. This basically is saying we have the power unless it's excluded. So it says exclusions from a commission's authority, temporary signs, location, lighting, removal, and similar matters as commission may from time to time specify. So I don't know if the lighting is referring to the lighting on the sign or lighting, just regular lighting. That's the very first exclusion, that we don't have authority.
I mean, I think the lighting only applies to, you know, if it's attached to a structure.
Right. This is different.
Well, the bandstand's a structure, is it not?
Mhm.
Yes, it is.
To me, it just reading of this again, it's the lighting of the sign. Temporary structures or signs subject, however, to such conditions as to duration of use, location, lighting, removal, or similar matters. So
So,
lighting of a sign. To me, that's not terribly clear.
so I'm just looking at the listing here. So Jen Anderson is the director, recreation director. And Carrie Arsenal is the office manager. And then members of the Recreation Commission are Kristen Belanger, sorry, Kayla Cushman, Christine Bishop, Stephen Crowley, and Gina Dalen or Delan. I'm not sure.
Deland, Gina
Deland.
Deland.
I don't know any.
I know Kristen, but
Well, I mean, why don't we ask to, you know, attend one of their next meetings and get a lay of the land?
I'm happy to go.
Yeah, okay, well, I will too.
If we can go in mass, that'd be helpful, so we don't feel like we're ganged up on.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll email her back and say, we'll try to get on to their April meeting. How's that sound?
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's,
good. Yeah.
I think that sounds great. I know that they've been doing a lot of work, the committee, and I know that there's been work going on. And John, maybe you can expound on this with CPC, that property. Was it Ferry? I'm trying to remember the name of the park that they were a little bent out of shape about because
Whitney Park,
yeah, but there's another park that they're looking
Perry
to
Hill Park.
Perry Hill, that's it.
North Grafton.
Right.
Yeah, John, why don't you fill them in on that? Because that may be part of why they're feeling out of joint because things are happening around them and they want to be included. And
That there was Perry Hill Park is at the site of the former Perry Hill School in North Grafton, a little bit, I guess, north and west of the old karate church, the Baptist church. And I think it's literally north of the old Methodist church. I think that's the same, if it's in the same block.
yeah, it is.
Block, I may be
I think
wrong.
it's one block back.
And Ray Mead had come to CPC because he wanted to move the park from Perry Hill to Whitney Park, which is the common in front of the Methodist church, and make the former Perry Hill Park into affordable housing. The problem is that it's parkland and you can't do it without a state enabling legislation. I mean, just very, very, very involved because it's dedicated to be parkland. It can never not be parkland unless you replace it with some other parkland somewhere else in town. But this was all done without consulting at our request that I made to have recreation included in this conversation because this will be a park for the town. It's basically going to be a mini super park. They're going to have amenities there, move the playground equipment there, maybe have a splash pad there. But they're looking for $100,000 for design and engineering, I guess, planning. And then it's going to be 400,000 plus to actually build the park. And so recreation kind of got caught blindsided. And so I don't know.
You're saying
Yeah,
that may
so
play into it, like things are happening around them and they're not being included. So, you know, we may be feeling some of that.
But I mean, if anything, reaching out to them like Bill did is, you know, trying to keep them included and,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Let's-
But I
Well,
did email Kristen just to find out what's going on with that because I've heard. And so I think that I see there's a communication issue because I would say, should I be contacting Jen about all this? And it's like, no, she needs to be contacting us, but I don't know. It's,
So
I'm not
maybe
real
we could
sure.
just get some, agreement on how things move forward. And, we want to work with them, obviously, and we don't want to see the
Yeah.
common not be decorated for the holidays. We obviously do. So, can we work together to make that happen in
Well,
a way
let's
that we're both
talk a
agreeable?
little bit while we have this opportunity beforehand and just ask, I'd like to ask each of you how you feel about the current lighting. I mean, do you like the way it is? They light the tree, assuming there'll be a new pine tree or conifer of some sort. They also illuminate the gazebo, and they have these lights going up and down the walks. And in some years, I'm not sure if we had them this year, they have these kind of drizzle lights that come down off the gazebo. Do you know what I mean by that? They kind of fall down for several feet and they're kind of, I don't know.
Icicles.
Icicles. Yeah,
Icicles,
icicles.
That's it. Yeah. I do not like that.
I think, personally, Bill, it seems like it gets a little more over the top every year.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the inflatable Santa to
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah, less is more.
Right.
So, I mean,
I
it could
think-
be a little bit more understated and a little bit more elegant. With all the changes that we're making to the common through the project, the lighting and all that we're adding to that space with the lamppost, etc. I mean, it's going to change what they can do up there, anyways.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna look differently.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it should be a little bit more understated than it currently is.
I agree.
Agreed.
I'm fine with decorating the tree. And I'm fine with having white lights around the gazebo. I don't like the icicle lights. I'm not sure they had those last year, but they definitely have in the past. And they did one year have colored lights, which I don't think they had last year, but I don't believe that those are appropriate. And I wasn't wild about the lights along the walkway, but that's just me. But I think the way you put it is good. A little, less is more. As long, for one thing, if they can stick with white lights, that would be a plus.
Especially with all the time, money, and effort going in to spruce up the common, we want to make sure it looks good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll get in touch with her and see if we can get into either their April or their May meeting.
I want to say they meet the first Monday of the month.
Okay.
So that's coming up very soon then.
It is. Yeah, a couple of weeks.
First Monday would be April 5th.
Yeah. So it's less than 2 weeks. Well, I'll fire off an email to her tonight, and we'll see where that takes us. And the last thing that we should discuss is the proposed building on Upton Street across from the fire station. I know that it's outside of our district, so we don't really have anything to say about it, but they like our input. I think there probably is a need for that sort of building in the town. I suppose maybe that's not such a bad place for it. I just don't think that 4 stories is appropriate.
It's way taller than anything else.
Right.
Even the townhouse is 3 stories, right? And
Yeah.
three stories back then
Right.
versus 3 or 4 stories now.
And
Very
do we even
different.
have fire equipment that could protect that? Is our ladder truck gonna go that high?
So, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sure it would. I'm sure it would. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't use
I mean,
that.
I think to Bill's point, there is a definite need. I mean, I think overall the design is fine. I think the scale is off for the location. And of course that all comes down to dollars and cents as to whether or not it would be a viable project to develop and that they could make money off of. But from our perspective, I think we should probably, write a letter so it's, in public record to whoever it needs to go to. And, state what our concerns are.
But could they have a, like, we can't redesign their building, but recommend, they need to have a setback it seems like that building is right on the street, but to have a little bit more of a setback and then to step the building up. So on the front, maybe it's 2 stories or 2.5 stories. And then on the sides and in the back, have it go up to 4. But at least on the front, to design something to where there's not so much mass right on the street.
So you're actually saying that they could probably come up with a design where maybe they could have the same number of units, but make it so that it's less obtrusive from the street view.
Right. But the mass of the building to the back, to the sides and the back, rather than right on the street, because it's like the building's almost fallen into the street. And when I was at SMU, they built a library that's literally, there's a sidewalk and then the building, and it's like it's falling onto Hillcrest. It's just, if a bus went off, it would go right into the building. And, that happened at the car wash this week. Somebody drove into something. It doesn't take much for a car to cause some damage if you're too close to a building, or structure.
I'm trying to think of any building within miles that's 4 stories high in Grafton.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe Washington Mills, not Washington, Wyman Gordon's, and that's this industrial complex that's way, set a 1/4 mile back from the road. And
It's not that tall though.
It could be. Some of it might be 4 stories, way back, but it's certainly not in a commercial right off the center of the whole village. So yeah, I think it's totally out of scale.
Are you concerned with the number of units though, or are you concerned with having 4 stories up front, like John was saying?
Yeah, I'm concerned with it being 4 stories, period. And I do agree it's too close to the street. And I agree with what he says, that if you could have the taller sections towards the back would be a little bit better. But I just think 4 stories is too much for the center of Grafton. How do you feel?
I think it's too big for the town.
Yeah.
Overall, it's just too big. But that's probably economically the only way that it's feasible. So if you say that it's too big, then it probably doesn't happen. And I would like to see something developed there.
Of course, it's possible that these guys are saying, well, let's go for what we really want. And if they pare it back, we can still build it and make money. Who knows? I don't think we should assume that it's only viable if they get all those units.
Yeah, I think we have to voice our concerns.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the only. It was only one bid for that, wasn't it? I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Maybe it's like when you get in a plumber or an electrician who really doesn't need the work, and they just say, "Oh yeah, that'll be $200,000. You can take it or lump."
Yeah. I'd do it if I was desperate for work. I'd do it for 125, but I don't. I got plenty of work. So, okay, I'll try to.
Ultimately, they're going to take whatever we send them as our opinion. They'll say thank you very much, and
Right, that's right. It's not going to make any difference.
we appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah, you're absolutely
If we're lucky, they'll say that.
right. Yeah. I think you're right. But they asked us, so I'll send them in.
Yeah, no, we should definitely officially respond.
Okay. Let's see. I think that is it. Does anyone else have anything they want to discuss?
How are we gonna handle what we're gonna send in? Do you need me to draft something? You're gonna draft something? You want me to take a second look at it?
Yeah, I'll draft it and I'll send it out to you guys and you can pick it over and rewrite it or whatever.
Okay,
Fair enough.
I'll try to do that tomorrow.
short but sweet.